Okay, so first of all, before we really get into this video, I just want to say thank you guys for all of the support recently. We have a ton of new people joining the channel from my last ramble, and I was drunk in that ramble. I'm not going to apologize for that because that's just who I am. I like to have fun on this channel. This video is a lot more in tune with the videos I usually make. It's spawned from me finding an article. I will leave the article in the description down below so you can check it out for yourself. But today I'm going to be talking about a game that came out 2 years ago that I think is severely underrated, even though it got raving reviews. Now, 2023 was a big year for games. Like, 2023 was probably, honestly, my favorite year in gaming in a very long time, probably since I was a kid. I mean, we got Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. We got the Final Fantasy game. I never know the numbers. I think we got the Armored Core game. I think Starfield came out in 2023. We got Mortal Kombat 1. We got Jasant, which I absolutely loved. We got a ton of Warhammer stuff, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Cyberpunk 2077 had its DLC. We had Lies of P, Hogwarts Legacy, which completely took over the year. We had games like The Finals that took up so much of my personal time. And there was just a lot of things to play in 2023. I think my credit is still reeling from that. We had Street Fighter 6, which was the first video I ever had on this channel do very well. And it was just a huge year. Sea of Stars. I mean, I could just keep going. Hi-Fi Rush. Like, there's so much, but there's one game in particular that I feel like a lot of people just kind of forgot about, even though to me, it's probably one of my top 5 favorite games to come out of 2023. It's definitely a sequel that I like more than 2 very big sequels that came out in 2023. And that game, from the title of the video, you already know, is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Now, if you don't know, I made a video on Fallen Order at the tail end of last year because I got re-addicted to that game. I got it on PC and I really enjoyed it. Now, I haven't played Jedi Survivor pretty much since like 2 months after it came out because there's just been so much and life has just been pretty hectic, honestly, for me personally since then. But I found an article from Game Rant that was talking about how the next Jedi Survivor, or the next Star Wars Jedi game, the world needs to strike a balance between large and laborious. And this game really, this third game that they want to make really needs to create a balance that this game in the second game didn't really have. And again, I could be reading this article completely wrong. I'll leave it in the description. But for me, I just want to talk about Jedi Survivor for a second. I don't even want to speculate about a third game yet. I want to talk about how fucking amazing Jedi Survivor is because it definitely got shafted at the Game Awards that year. I remember that specifically, but just in general, I think this game gets shit on a lot. Obviously, there's one big reason for that, and I'll address that now because it is the elephant in the room: the performance on PC. When this game came out on PC, it was absolutely fucking awful. It was terrible. The performance was one of the worst I've ever seen in a game. The bugs were insane. People literally couldn't play the game without bricking their PCs. Like, this game came out in a horrendous position, and it definitely affected how a lot of people felt about the game, which is really unfortunate because I think in terms of being a sequel, it does everything that a sequel should do. Now, obviously, opinions, everybody has their own, okay? And if you think that this game was a really bad sequel, I can see it. I totally get it. That is your opinion. Let me share mine, and then you can share yours in the comment section. I think that this game does every single thing a good sequel should. It improves on what was introduced in the first game. It takes the characters that we know and love to new heights. It ups the stakes in a very intense and a little bit of a too rambunctious way, in my opinion. It takes the combat system that is fucking incredible in the first game and turns it up a notch. It increases exploration. It's just overall, in general, such a leg up from the first game. I forgot that it was called Fallen Order, so I just hit the first game. But Jedi Survivor does so much well. Cal in this game just cements himself as one of my favorite protagonists that we've gotten in a long time. I mean, I already loved Cal in the first game, and I think the actor that portrays him is incredible. I've watched him ever since he was a little kid in Shameless, and then when he was on the show Gotham as well, he played an incredible different version of the Joker, one of my favorite live action Joker portrayals ever, by the way. And if you haven't watched Gotham, super underrated show. But I mean, the acting here is top notch, and it just kind of takes Cal into more of this staple Jedi position. I mean, people are calling for him to be put in live action, right? A lot of people are. I hope he isn't, because I don't want them to ruin Cal Kestis for me. But then on top of just as a character and his personality growth in this game and becoming more of a solidified badass, he also just has all these insane new powers in this game. He can do so much more, and it's just really cool. His outfits in this game, obviously you're not just customizing the poncho anymore, so it looks really cool. You can customize him in a lot of different ways, which I actually really enjoy, and I think it adds a little bit of different replayability to the game as well. But he's not the only returning character. I mean, we got pretty much everybody back, and I don't want to spoil this game. There is a boss fight in this game that is just, I mean, it tops the ending of Fallen Order's boss fight, at least for me. I know that at the end of Fallen Order, if you've played the game, it's not really a boss fight, it's more of an escape fight. But in this game, it is more of a boss fight, but you know you're gonna fucking lose, and it's just even better than I could have hoped for, because I actually really didn't think that this certain character was gonna be in this game to this extent. Was it a little predictable? Yeah. The story, for me at least, I could kind of tell where it was going. Again, I'm a big story guy, so like I can pick up on nuances and clues pretty easily, but I definitely think that for me, I was more invested in this game than I was in the first game. The only like real gripe that I have with this game, besides the absolutely just horrendous state that it launched on PC, it feels that sometimes the open world is open just for you to explore it, if that makes sense. It's not an open world in the sense of you're going to find something everywhere. It feels more tedious than the first game did, if that makes sense. I feel like with the first game, there was a lot better balance between how the scale of something was and how tedious it was to backtrack. And in this game, it feels like that got a little lost. It feels like there was way more backtracking in certain parts, which, you know, is fine. It's not a terrible thing. And if that's the only negative I can take away from this, then I mean, the game's pretty fucking good in my opinion. I do want a third game here because it's pretty obvious that the story for Cal is not over. And the way this game ends, in my opinion, I think is beautiful. I think the ending of this game is really good. Again, it's pretty predictable, but I think it just really puts Cal in this position of power that I did not expect him to be in, and I'm here for it. I'm excited to see what they do with the third game, especially because this game, one of the things that I think is underrated is how many different enemy types there are and how they're introduced. And I'm excited to see how they improve it even further, what they do with Cal's abilities, because his abilities from the first game are back, but they're amplified, and his new abilities are pretty insane. I don't know how they can really improve on them from here. I mean, I'm not the biggest Star Wars lore guy. I haven't read all the comics, so I don't know if he's missing some signature stuff from other Jedi, but I think there's a lot of stuff for them to add. There probably is somewhere. But I think at the end of the day, this game is really big, and you could spend countless hours in it, just kind of going around doing your own thing and kind of avoiding the main story. But I think that the main story here is actually the best part of the game. Now, the combat obviously is really good. I think the new game plus mode is also awesome, but I think that they just need to tone and tweak some things and kind of scale back a little bit like the first game. And the third one will be perfect, honestly, as long as they can keep up the quality of the storytelling. I'm also excited to see like what they make canon. The things that have happened in this game, like certain characters you see from side quests or different things, or certain moments in the game, it does make things, I think, more complicated in the grand scheme of like the Star Wars connected universe or whatever. Wow, that's a really cringe thing to say, because I wanted to say the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But I'm excited to see what they do with the third game, because it's definitely going in one direction, and there's only so much of this direction that they can follow. Again, I'm trying not to spoil this game, because this game is only 2 years old, and a lot of people probably didn't get the chance to play it yet. I really hope you do. Honestly, even if you didn't play the first game, you might be a little confused here or there, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Anyways, if you remember Star Wars Jedi Survivor, let me know in the comment section down below. Again, it feels weird to say that for a game that came out 2 years ago, but it got absolutely buried by everything else that came out in 2023. I know so many people that literally just played Hogwarts Legacy the entire year. So let me know your thoughts about the game in the comment section down below. While you're scrolling down there, you're going to see a thumbs up button and a big red subscribe button and a tiny little bell. Go ahead and click all three of those, It helps out the channel a lot. I don't usually promote it that much, but I do have a Letterboxd. It's the only form of social media that I use. So go ahead and go down into the description. Check that out if you're into films or TV shows. I've reviewed so many on there over the last couple years. With that, this has been Nate, otherwise known as Wicked, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.